Hi everyone and welcome to episode 29 of the Spring Snowflake podcast. My name is Sophie, also known as Sophie Swan on Instagram and a Spring Snowflake on Instagram. You are joining me on a relatively sunny should we call it late? Yeah, September day. And this is the second time I filmed this podcast. Those of you who've been watching my September vlogs, I'm vlogging every day, in September at the moment. Those of you who are watching them will have seen my utter, sheer, oh my god, when I realised I had filmed this and then deleted it from my SD card. So 2 weeks ago I filmed this entire podcast and then I deleted it. I'm a clever girl. So take two. If I pause at any point and look a little bit confused, it's probably because I'm having deja vu of, did I talk about this already? Things have changed slightly in the 2 weeks between me filming the last time and me filming now. So, I apologise if you hear any background noise. We have our gardener here. Bless him, he hasn't been for a while because he managed to give himself second degree burns over the summer. So this is the first time he's been back, bless him. Yeah, I think he's gone a little bit stir crazy. So if you hear a strimmer, that's Rob. So, I just closed the windows. Admin-y type things. You can find the podcast on our Mighty Networks community page. If there is a link down below that should get you straight in, or you might have to wait until I approve you, but it is a community site that basically has all the information about things that we're running, like alongs and giveaways and generally just nice chatter. There's a very small group in there at the moment. It's growing, which is nice. And we are there for you to chat, introduce yourself and take part in anything that we're kind of doing as part of the podcast. And I'll talk a little bit about that later. You can also support the podcast in one of two ways. You can either join our Patreon community, which the link is down below in the description box. The show notes are also on my Patreon site as a public post, and all the links and everything are on there. There are different tiers for that Patreon site and community. Everyone gets 48-hour access to my podcasts, 48-hour early access to my podcasts, and there's also a monthly sip and stitch note. As you go up the tiers, you get entry to a quarterly giveaway, which I think I need to pull for this month. And then there is, on the top tier, you also get an extra bit of stuff from me. It might be a vlog, it might be a chat, it might be something else. I'm also trying to put posts every time I finish some things off. I haven't done that for my most recent FOs, mainly because I was kind of waiting for the podcast and then the podcast didn't happen. So I need to do that. And there's a lot of things. So I will post my podcast notes and then I will also link to more full FO finished object posts as well. The reason why I'm doing that on Patreon is because I no longer am on Ravelry, so I can't send you to Ravelry to show you what yarn I used, how much I used, sizing, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to try and put that in a little kind of blog-ish post on my Patreon. If you wanted to support the podcast in a kind of one-off way, I do also have a Ko-fi account, which is down below. Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful podcast she's gone gold, I think, or pro on her Ko-fi, so she can she's changed the buy me a coffee to buy me a nice cup of tea, and I'm so tempted to do that because I don't drink coffee, I drink tea or hot chocolate with hazelnut syrup. Anyway, let's get on with the admin. So we had two different things that I had to pull prizes for this podcast. One was my birthday giveaway, my birthday was in May. It's been a long time coming, this giveaway, mainly because we moved halfway through the giveaway kind of opening because I shut down my Ravelry account. So it went over to Mighty Networks. And I had 5 prizes that I was giving out, and I had 7 entries. So I decided that instead of picking 5 out of the 7, everyone gets a prize. I feel a bit like Oprah saying that, but everyone gets a prize. The 2 biggest prizes were yarn. So the first prize, the biggest prize, was a skein or something similar from Lone, who's a Lonely Sock Lady. She's over in Denmark. And the winner of that prize was the lovely Flick Merison on Instagram. Hi, Flick! And she, was it Siri or was it Alexa? was one of the lovely ladies that I asked to help me do random number generator, that they picked Flick as the winner of the Lonely Sock Lady yarn. Now I contacted Flick because the deal was I was going to buy them a skein and Lone was going to send it to them. Now in the end I ended up buying some yarn for me from Lone because I've broken my yarn buying ban just for September. We'll come to that later. So I ended up buying for me, so I just got in touch with Flick and went, what do you want? And she chose, it's already boxed up, ready to go. Excuse the crinkling. She chose, of course, because Lone is, like, she's now my favourite self-striper of the dyes. She chose the Rainbow Grey Edition 120 gram sock set. Look at that. So Flick, I need to get your address and I'm sending this to you. So this is a 100 gram skein of rainbow self-striping and a grey 20 gram lace skein, so 120 grams. Now Flick, there is a proviso with this. I'm sending this to you. One of the pairs of socks that comes out of this has to be for you. And you can show this to your girls to say that Sophie says one of these pairs of socks, because I'm assuming you'll probably be able to get two pairs out of 100 gram of self-strapping, has to be for mummy, okay? So yes, that's the first prize of the birthday giveaway. The second prize was a set of minis from Wild Rose Yarn, and I think I did show them, but I will show them again. They're all, I'm sorry, crinkle. And the winner of the Wild Rose minis, which are these ones, is the lovely Claudia, who is Sunbird Crochet on Instagram. Claudia, I think I have your address, but I might get in touch just to confirm. Okay? But yes, so you win the Wild Rose Yarn minis. And then everyone else gets a pattern. So the people that, I've got it in my book, the people that left comments on my birthday giveaway with their best experience of their birthdays was Stasia, Rika, Paula, Lisa and Ali. That's 5 of you. Yes, so all of you, I will get in touch with you and we will work out getting you a pattern. I am not buying off Ravelry, sorry. We'll find another way of buying you patterns, okay? So yes. Right, the other one was our Lesser Spotted Make-Along came to an end. I failed in every respect of creating a lesser spotted garment, although you might forgive me for saying that the Jinx Vest was a lesser spotted, because even though it's knitted and top down, it kind of was a bit of an interesting construction to start with. Maybe. Doesn't matter, I wasn't in the running for prizes anyway because it was my own along. But we had I chose to pick 2 winners from that because, again, the Lesser Spotted Make-Along was running half while I was on Ravelry and half when I wasn't. I chose not to use Ravelry at all from that thread, so I chose to pick someone from the Mighty Networks thread, someone who posted in the finished object thread, and then someone who used the hashtag on Instagram. So the Mighty Networks winner wins a bag from the lovely SoCan Joe, who donated a bag. Excuse again the crinkle, but the bag is this. It's huge. Look at this bag. Anyway, so it is a drawstring with a holding loop. It is in this beautiful gold fabric. And the winner of that, which is no surprise for the amount of posts that she put in the FO thread, is the lovely Stasia. Stasia, I need to get your address and I will send this to you. Stasia, I think Stasia put like 7 garments in there because Stasia is the garment making queen. So there you go. I think she makes like a garment a month. It's insane. The woman can crochet. And then on Instagram, the winner for the Instagram post is going to be winning, a set of stitch markers. These are bulb pin stitch markers with little rings on them. They're really cute in rainbow. And then also a Furls, is this the right way around? Yes, Furls Candy Shop hook. This is a 4mm. These Candy Shop hooks, and I can't get these out, were donated by the lovely Tamara, who is Crafty Escapism. I'm not going to open this because I don't want to break the box. Ah, there we go. She donated these to the podcast ages ago. So it is the grape colourway. Yes, and it is the 4mm hook. So these are going to be winging their way to Jessica, who is Ariana Crochet. Now, Jessica, I think you're in Spain. So lots of international postage for me. Apart from Flick. Flick's in the UK. But yeah, so our prize is going to be going to Russia, Spain and Germany. There you go. Right. I'm just going to put these away. That's the admin. Now, we are going to be running another along, which for those of you who are on my Mighty Networks community, you'll have already seen this, but we are going to be running a Tunisian crochet along, and it's going to be running until the end of the year. So 31st December from now, well, basically from the start of September, pretty much. Anything that is Tunisian crochet, doesn't really matter what it is. You have until the 31st December to put it into the finished object thread on Mighty Networks, which is already up there. There is also a chatter thread. Anything Tunisian crochet can be a mix if you wanted to. I'm thinking the Ishrat Hat that I've just finished. I'll show you that in a bit. Because that's knitting and crochet and Tunisian crochet. So it can be a mix as long as more than 50% of the project is Tunisian crochet. It can be a shawl, it can be a hat, it can be mitts, it can be a garment, whatever you want. What else? There is the hashtag, I think is going to be Spring Snowflake. Yeah, Spring Snowflake TCAL, Tunisian crochet along. Whips are allowed as long as they're no more than 50% done, and you will get an extra bonus points or bonus entries if, 1, you use yarn from your collection or your stash. Don't buy any new, well, you can buy new yarn for it, but it just doesn't get you an extra entry. That's a trust exercise. You need to tell me in your FO post if you used it from your collection. 2, if this is your first ever Tunisian crochet project ever, save like trying it out or a washcloth or whatever, something easy. But if it's your first Tunisian crochet project, let me know in the FO thread as well, and that will get you an extra entry. Okay, so I think that's it. Please use the hashtag on Instagram. Please go and have a chatter in the chatter thread and post your FOs in the FO thread. I will show you in a bit what I am making. Lastly, for alongs, I am still co-hosting the Creature Conference along with Gemma from the Midnight Diary. It's taking place in her Facebook group. There's not been a lot of chatter about it. It's quite small, but if you do fancy doing the Creature Conference along, it's basically creating a garment with any kind of creature on it. Doesn't necessarily need to be an actual animal. Yeah. So, and I'll show you what I'm doing for that in a bit, which I'm very close to being done with. Okay, FOs. We have multiples because it's been a while. So, first finished object is a pair of socks which have been worn and have been through the washer and dryer already, so they're not looking their best, but I love them. These are my Afterthought Everything socks from a sock tube that I bought from a Amy Florence, also known as Stranded Dye Works, or Stranded Dye Works, also known as Amy Florence. So the knitting on the sock was already done. This is in her 4224, yes, 4224 colourway, and the contrast heels, toes and cuffs is Rivenets in Ginger Tread House, which was a special part of a collab thing that they did a couple of Christmases ago. So I cut in, I've done a rounded toe, wedge toe, the equivalent of a rounded toe as the Afterthought heel, and 1x1 twisted rib for the cuff. They're fun socks, I really like them. I'm still about Afterthought heels, but they are good if you just knit a sock tube. So those are done, dusted. Always good. Then I finished the Jinx top, which is a pattern by Truly Hooked, which is now out. She released it as part of a release of 5 sweaters 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I think it was part of a Yorkshire Yarn Fest. It is a vest top, and I will post a photo of me wearing it so you can see what it looks like. It is it's a trapezium shape, so it basically just keeps increasing out, and then I there's a lace border which I did in fluff. So it is a vest top. This is double I-cord straps, which I really enjoyed working, and it's made out of minis. So most of these minis are from Verity, from Truly Hooked, but there's also ones from It's a Stitch Up. There's some Wild Rose in there, there's some Mothie and the Squid, there's some Vicky Brown, and then the fluff at the bottom is Dye Candy in her Unicorn Massacre colourway. I love it. It's a really nice top. It's a little bit loose and flowy, but it's a lovely summer top to wear, actually. I've really enjoyed wearing it. And I didn't have to buy a new bra to go with it to make it look nice. Which is always the problem when you make vest tops. Having the correct undergarments is important, isn't it? So I really enjoyed that. I think it uses about 600 for my size, which was the 40, so it's upper bust that's gone on. So mine was the 40-inch upper bust size, and I used just over 600 metres of the main colour and about, I think, 80 metres of the fluff. The pattern doesn't call for fluff, it calls for just a contrasting another 4-ply. So most of this is merino nylon, some of it's 100% merino. I know that It's a Stitch Up is 100% high twist merino, but yeah, love it. So you knit it flat to start with, and then you go in the round and just keep increasing. So you've got these lovely, I'm showing you the wrong side, increase yarn overs at the sides. But yeah, really love it. Really, really enjoyable top to wear. And I've worn it a couple of times, which is nice. Next is my, as I was talking about earlier, my Ishrat hat, which I'm not going to put on because I've got my hair in my nice plaits, but I will show you it like this. So this is a pattern by Ava Nee, the Irish Tunisian crochet designer. It is knitted brim, then crochet to bring yourself round to set up for the body of the hat, and then it's Tunisian crocheted flat. I've not ever made a hat flat, so this was really interesting. Now, I definitely think I didn't swatch because it's a hat. I should have, because it's ended up less slouch and more beanie. I think if I did it again, I would probably knit another 10 rows of garter for the brim, so that I then have wider bands, and then I'd probably chain further. I'd probably chain another maybe 15 chains to give it a bit more of a slouch. It's a really nice fitting hat. It's very much a beanie style, so it goes with the fact that I have put a removable pom-pom on the top. These are removable pom-poms from Cowling Country Crafts. She is on Etsy. There are lots more people now doing poppered pom-poms, but I really like hers. She has a really wide range of faux fur that you can use for the poppers. So this is what I'm going to be calling an autumn hat, I think, because it's made out of 4-ply. Oh, the yarn is Truly Hooked in her Trance colourway, which was a limited edition colourway for Mind. She's not doing this anymore, and it was in memory of her father. So yes, that is the Ishrat hat. Ava did name this hat for the fabulous Ishrat, who is Fruitful Fusion. That's made me laugh. So I can never say Fruitful Fusion the first time, and I then have to think about what I'm saying and put my face around it. And Faye from the Crochet Circle and a podcast and I were talking about this at Hookup. So Faye runs the Global Hookup once a month, which is a nice Zoom meetup for, you don't need to be a crocheter, just creatives to come and chat together and just be together, and it's really nice. But Faye and I were saying that it's really nice actually that we have to stop and say Ishrat's yarn company's name multiple times, because then it reinforces that you do need to go and buy yarn from Fruitful Fusion. Right, next, I finished my Colourful Keepsexual. This is a oh my god, this is a 3-colour shawl knitted, which is a pattern by Tina Say Knits. You start at the shortest end and you keep increasing, and by the time you get to about here you go, is it done yet? I love it though. I would not have chosen this colour combination, but I love it. So when I was choosing colour combinations, I was putting things up on Instagram stories, as you do, getting people to vote. And the lovely Stasia, who is Stasia Crochet, went, well, I like the pink and I like the orange, but put a dark with it. And so I sent her a picture of with the dark, and she went, do it. And I love it. They're not my usual colours, but it works so well. So the yarns used are, this is Stranded Dye Works, which is a merino singles in the Tits Out colourway, Tits Out Collective limited edition colourway from last year, the year before. But that's a merino singles. And then the orange is a Vicky Brown Designs. It was one of her Sock Club yarns. It's a merino bamboo and it's in the colourway Laverna. I love this pattern. It looks like paw prints. And then the darker one is Studio Donegal. It's 100% lamb's wool. And I can't remember what the colourway is. Cob? Might be cob. But yes, 100% wool. So yeah, it's basically wool with a bit of bamboo with the thing in the orange. But yeah, I love it. I love it. It's such a nice pattern as well, and it is free on Tina's blog if you wanted to go and have a look at it. If you go straight to her shop, you do have to pay for it, but if you click onto free patterns, it's on there. So I love it. There's all sorts of lovely lace and texture, and there's slip stitches, and there's, yeah, it's a really fun pattern, but you do slightly lose the will to live once you get to the top. And I did finish it a little bit early because I thought actually I was running out of the pink yarn. I probably could have managed the whole thing, but it's huge anyway. And this is now, because this is a fingering weight, this is now an autumn to winter transitional piece for me, because however big it is still light. Yes, so Colourful Keepsexual. It was a Cal at the start of lockdown. Right. Two more of those. I was on a massive finishing kick. I finished my DK Brioche bandana cowl, which is a pattern by Lavagna Petritrella. And I used the leftovers from my Truly Hooked Blanket Club. For those of you who've been watching my vlogs, I did a blanket tour and you will have seen the actual blanket. These leftovers are the gift that keep on giving, because I've now made a hat. Yes, I made my tincture hat out of the pinks and purples. And now the blues and the greens have gone into this, and I've probably got another 30 grams left. So I could probably do another 2-colour DK hat out of it. I'm not sure which one. I could make another tincture hat, couldn't I? But yeah. The grey is a young company that I don't want to support, so I'm not going to tell you, but it's 100% merino. But this is DK, it's a brioche squish. My plan for this is very squishy, so it's definitely not for this time of year, but my plan for this is going to be my skiing cowl. So when you're skiing, you kind of need, you've got the helmet, and then if you can have a high neck, and then this kind of covers the front of you. So if you wanted to have your ski jacket open a little bit, you're not going to get a cold chest, but actually because you've got high neck at the back, it's not going to muck about with the back of your jacket. So this is my ski resort cowl. Lastly, this is the thing that I've basically done in the last week. So some very dear friends of ours are due their first baby in December. We've known them for a long time, and we're putting together all sorts of stuff for them, for mum, for baby, for dad as well. There is a dad kit coming up as well. Chris is in charge of that. But every new baby in our lives gets something handmade. For the most part, it is a hat. This baby's getting a hat, but I haven't made it yet. But we wanted to put a blanket in. So I have made a corner-to-corner blanket. It's a corner-to-corner granny. I've never done a corner-to-corner granny before. And it is made out of Karen cotton cakes. I think I used the best part of 4 Karen cotton cakes. And it is, I think, 30 by 36 inches, this blanket. It hasn't had a bath yet, so it probably will grow a little bit. It's cotton acrylic. Really nice to work with, actually. Cotton, I'm not the biggest fan of to work with, particularly when it's kind of the mass-produced commercial stuff. I'm getting more used to working with cotton because I want some lighter weight things. But yeah, the colourway is called Garden Oasis. And this is not going to be my last corner to corner granny because granny makes me happy. I had, for those of you who've watched my vlogs, you'll have seen I didn't have the best week and I took 5 days off a week and a half ago. I had a panic attack. It wasn't fun. And obviously you want to keep crafting because that's what we do to keep ourselves sane, but my brain just couldn't process anything that wasn't easy for a couple of days, so I started this. And I wasn't planning actually on using this yarn as a baby blanket. I actually had bought a different set of yarn for them, for their blanket, and I just started this and went to Chris, I'm just going to do this for their blanket. So yes, this is done. It does need blocking. It does need a bit of a bath, which I will do. What I might do actually is just shove it in the washing machine because I'm purposeful when I'm making things when I'm knitting or crocheting for people that aren't yarny. They get things that can be just shoved in the washing machine and the dryer. So it's cotton acrylic. It will happily go in a washing machine, and then I will pin it out just to give it a bit of shape. Or I might just shove it in the dryer. We'll see. Those are my FOs. So, whips. Let's go with... Let's go with the one that I'm almost done with. It's so frustrating I'm not done because I had to rip this out a little bit. I've had to rip it out twice, actually. So, I am making, for the Creature Comforts craft along, I am making the mini Last Unicorn sweater. So, you can't really see the unicorns because it's not blocked, but there you go, that's a bit better. This is a test for Bad Wolf Girl Designs or Studios, and it is for the small person because pink is not my colour. Well, you say that. This pink is not my colour. So you have a rainbow yoke, you have your unicorn motifs, and then the hearts. And I have decided, I made it quite long because my child is quite long. I decided to put a rainbow at the bottom of it as well. I was going to do rainbows around the cuffs, and then I had to, so the decreases are quite interesting in the pattern. But yeah, after I did the decreases and bound off, I tried it on the small person. It actually, her hand wouldn't fit through the cuff. So I had to rip back and take some of the decreases out. Now, I have decreased and bound off for one sleeve. I am now on I've done the decreases and I'm now on I think I've got like 7 rounds and then 10 rounds of cuff. And that's it. This will be done tonight. I wanted to get the podcast done. So, things I need to tell you. The main yarn for this is an one-of-a-kind one-off dye that the lovely Gemma from the Midnight Diary did for me. She said, just let me just dye some Amelia specific colours. Like, okay. And this 3 skeins of this gorgeous pink arrived. I'm not going to use, I'm not even going to use 2 skeins, I think. So 1 skein of this pink. Let me grab it out of the bag. This is the colour. It won't be done. It won't be used. So I will use it for something else for her, and probably I'm going to make myself the corresponding hat for this pattern and do the unicorns in pink for that hat, I think is probably the plan. So yes, it is a DK weight sweater. The other colours are, the darker pink is Skein Queen, the orange and the yellow are Vicky Brown from a previous advent. The green is Midnight Diary, that's the Hops colourway, and then the blue and the purple are John Arbon Knit by Numbers DK. The white is an undyed, which I got as part of my Truly Hooked Blanket Club. That's the leftovers of that. Again, the gift that keeps on giving, that undyed I've still got loads of, so really helpful. I am using 5mm needles. These are my Knit Pro Zing DPNs, which it's just coincidence that they're pink. Oh, and my stitch marker is the latest... Okay, the latest Stitch Marker Club from the Corner of Craft, this beautiful autumnal leaf. It is living in, let me just put this yarn back in the bag. It is living in my corner of craft, not corner of craft, my Hide and Hammer 03 roll top bag with the dark handles and the neon stitching. I love this thing and it fits everything really well. Most of this I don't actually need because all I'm doing is going round and round and round with this pink ball. So, really enjoying that. My DPNs are also being held in a little grey girl DPN holder. Right, that's that one. Next, I'll show you my advent blanket because it's kind of buried in everything. My advent blanket doesn't have a bag at the moment. It's just kind of hanging out. Why? It's kind of just hanging out on my bedside table and in my yarn bowl. So this yarn bowl, I will tell you, is by Earth, Wool and Fire, I think. And my lovely husband had this custom made for me to represent our wedding cake. Now, when we got married, we had 3 mountains as our cake. Our cake designer was amazing. My cake cost more than my dress, although my dress was a sample, so that's not really telling you much. But yeah, we had 3 mountains, 1 chocolate marble, 1 fruit and 1 polystyrene, because 2 just looked a bit weird. So we needed that fake one at the back. And it has Chris and I skiing on it, and we've got, she had marzipan trees, and there was it's not on here, but on the cake itself there was a chairlift, and yeah, my cake designer was amazing, and the designer of this bowl is amazing too. I love this thing. It makes me happy, and I have a magic knot ball. It's not a magic knot ball. I just have a ball. I balled up all the minis. They're only loosely tied together because I use the clasp weft join to join my yarns rather than the magic knot, because I don't trust the magic knot. So yes, that is my advent blanket. I am currently on the oranges. Now, I moved my progress marker because I had shown you everything. And then we realised that I hadn't. Where is my program? Where's my Ladybird? Oh, there it is. Aha, I moved it back. Aren't I clever? Or had I? Anyway, I've got a corner of craft progress marker on here. I have no idea what you last saw, but I have gone from greens to yellows to oranges now. So if I show you, if I show you going up, it's huge. And I've got now reds, pinks and rainbows to go in. So this will get done before Advent starts again, because I've got quite a few Advents, so it kind of needs, I can't have that one hanging around when I've got other things I want to do. So that's the Advent blanket. What else is on my list? Things you haven't seen since that are new to you. So I have started a cross stitch. This is another along that is going on with Gemma and the Midnight Diary. Eva, who is the festival director for Perth Festival of Yarn, is a big embroiderer and cross stitcher. So she introduced Gemma to this cross stitch designer on Etsy, and then Gemma decided that we were all going to have to make her thing. So I am doing, this is, you can probably see, it's going to be a capital A. I'll pop a picture of what the design looks like, and I'll pop a link to the Etsy shop. This is going to be a wedding present for a friend of mine who I know doesn't watch this, and this doesn't give away much anyway. But I'm doing his first initial and then also his bride-to-be's initial. We're a little concerned now. We've just had the Prime Minister basically tell us about more restrictions because the number of infections is going up in the UK for coronavirus. So weddings at the moment are now down to 15 guests maximum, and Andy and Claire are looking at 150 in June next year. So part of me is thinking they're not going to get the wedding that they want, but fingers crossed. But yes, anyway, I have a needle minder and a threader from Chapel View Crafts. I love a jammy dodger. And this is, it's a really nice project. I haven't picked it up in a while, to be honest. I tend to pick it up when I am doing Sip and Stitch on Wednesday nights, which is Gemma's get together if anyone wants to come and join us. It is living in my what was Knit It Hook It Craft It bag with the tweed and the waxed cotton. I don't think Faye is doing these anymore. Her shop has been renamed to Provenance Craft Company. Okay, 2 more. For my Tunisian crochet along, I have started a new shawl. This I've had on my queue for a while. I've owned it for a little bit. I think the lovely Sharon bought it for me as a prize. And this is the Diamond River shawl. Oh, there we go. So I haven't got very far with it, but it is it's a Tunisian crochet pattern, obviously, but it is basically lots of simple stitch, but with this diamond lace motif everywhere. And because these are extended stitches, it then makes the Tunisian simple stitch into waves. So it's called the Diamond River because it goes all wavy. And actually I've blocked this bottom bit because that was my swatch. And it looks really cool when it's blocked. So it lays flat, but then it creates these waves in the simple stitch. The yarn I'm using is Truly Hooked. It's part of a 3-colour set, her river set that she offered. So there's Pebble Dash, Rambling River, and another one, and I can't remember what the other one is. Pebble Dash, Riverbed, Rambling River, yes. So this is Pebble Dash. Yeah, that's Pebble Dash. This is Riverbed, which is more brown. And then Rambling River is the bluer version. So the blue's going in the middle and the brown is going at the end. So there's the greyer tone, the bluer tone, and the browner tone. But yeah, I bought these ages ago, so I am doing it from my collection. I haven't bought any more new yarn. This is Living In. Wait a minute, let me just put this back in. I'm using my Chalgu Tunisian interchangeable hook set. I really like it. It's they're bamboo. I have had to file down a little bit the every time I use a new one I realise that it kind of needs to be filed down a bit because there's some snags. I am using a Japanese knot bag by So Beautiful by Nicola, and I have this is the newest pin from Bear and Sheep Clothing. It's called it says Bear With Me, which I love. I have a Die Candy Progress Keeper on there, and I also have a Crochet Luna button badge which says Shawl Project, and this is a really nice one to take around with me. This does require thinking, so I haven't picked it up for a while, but yes, that is going to be my Spring Snowflake Tunisian Crochet Along project. Lastly, I have started a new crochet garment project, which is living in my Hide and Hammer leather bag. I love this. I think this is the 01. And on Friday, so it is currently Tuesday the 22nd of September, on Friday we had the sad news that Ruth Bader Ginsburg had passed away. Now, she was the second of only 4 female judges on the US Supreme Court, and has been an inspiration to a lot of women and the feminist movement for a long time. It's a really sad thing. I don't want to concentrate on the political ramifications in the US that are going on because of it. I've chosen to kind of just be sad about the fact that we've lost this amazing woman whose legacy will carry on forever. But because of that, I wanted to kind of do something in tribute. So I decided, and this has been something that's been on my queue since it was released, I decided to start the Beaded Tank by the lovely Stephanie Erin. So there's not much in this at the moment, but it is a beaded tank top or vest top. Basically, I'll pop a picture so you can see what it will look like. It is a beautiful beaded kind of collar, and then a simple linen stitch, moss stitch, seed stitch. And I've just started it in the last 24 hours. So I have started beading. Now, I wonder if you can see. The yarn that I'm using... There we go. Can you see the beads? There we go. The yarn I'm using is a gorgeous 100% Pima Cotton 4-ply by Mia, who is 3 Violet Buttons. I absolutely love Mia's yarn. And I bought this through the kind of surprise me version. So for slightly less money per skein, you can put in kind of what colours you like, but really it's going to be a surprise. And she's named this No Regrets, which is really cool. I love this colourway. It's mostly greens with some blues and some dark navy. It's really lovely. It's a very much like greeny blue watery. I love it. So yes, and I don't have the beads in here. That's annoying. The beads I bought from It's a Stitch Up. Susie is actually, her bead supplier is going out of business, so she's not going to have any more on there, but they're kind of an amethyst colour. If you can see. Yeah, there we go. Oh. Yeah. Really lovely. So I've only just started that, but it's already really heavy. And that's like 70 beads so far. Yeah, it's going to have like 500 beads on it in the end. So yes, that's going to be fun to wear. Yes, so that is my final whip. Next in the kind of making stuff is spinning. I finished a spin, which is this one. I bought myself a electric eel nano e-spinner. It is fabulous and little and I love it. And while I quite enjoy the rhythm of using a drop spindle, I did find that was kind of getting tension in my shoulders. So an e-spinner, it's so much nicer. So this is the Shetland yarn that I got as part of my drop spindle class at the Southern Wool Show last year, and I have spun it to a 3-ply worsted weight yarn. And I had I had 100-gram braid of this. It's turned into, because it's a 3-ply, it's gone to 36 grams. No. And it was about 9 wraps per inch, which makes it about a worsted weight. So less bulky than the last spin I did, but still quite chunky. It's fine. I now have 36 grams of this left, which is about 41 metres, because I put this into my handspun blanket. So for those of you who watched the last one, you'll have seen that when I finish a spin, it goes into a granny square blanket, which is going to be a complete hodgepodge and really messy, but it's going to show my spinning journey. So I've done that. It's a bit bigger than the first one, but it's fine. They are attached. This one was a 2-round granny, this one is a 3-round granny, just to show the difference in the spins. And that's the point, isn't it? It's just to show kind of how I get there. So yes, that is a finished object. I'm really happy with that. I have no idea what this 41 metres is going to go into now, but it's there if I need it to. And then I've started my next spin. I've done 1 bobbin of, this is Witchcrafty Lady, her Polworth nylon. Yeah, Polworth nylon. This gorgeous grey, and there's some black that runs through it as well. So some of it's a bit barber pole, which is quite cool. So yes, I've done one bobbin. I think I'll probably end up having about 5 bobbins out of it, but we'll see. This one is very tightly packed. I haven't picked up my spinning for a while, so I need to get back at that. Okay, I did mention earlier that I got a parcel through. I've had quite a lot of yarn this month because I have bought some stuff. There was also Perth Festival of Yarn, so I've had some yarn through for that. I've also bought some fibre, but as I normally do, I'm not going to show you stuff until I start using it. So what I did get was a parcel from Lona, the Lonely Sock Lady, and this is going to be my next cast on. So I think once I finish the unicorn sweater, I will start these. I've also got the Strictly Sock Along to take part in, so I'm going to start making some socks. Now, I got this yarn, because self-striping, from the lovely Lona. It's called Lovely Nights in Sierra Leone. It is 70-gram sock set, and it looks like that. And these are going to be my first pair of Strictly socks. They're probably going to be my only pair of Strictly socks. Now, I've already watched Strictly Come Dancing is not on in a normal sense this year, but they've started by doing some specials. So there's already been a 1-hour special on movie night, which is always fun. I love the movie night special in Strictly. Also, one of my favourite ever routines was on a movie night, which was Jay and Aliona's Pulp Fiction jive. Show me a jive that I'm not unhappy with, to be honest. I bloody love it. Also, it reminded me of one of my other favourite routines, which was Faye and Giovanni's Quick Step to Greece. Oh god, it was so good. Mainly because like she wore the sandy, like the skin tight trousers, and doing Quick Step without the safety of the beautiful big skirt to distract the judges from your footwork is brave, and Faye did amazingly with that. So anyway, this yarn is waiting in my little grey girl sheep pyramid bag. It has 2 of my newest pin badges, which are from Sugar and Sloth. Amelia and I are subscribed to the Sugar and Sloth monthly subscription box, it's called the Tiny Party Club. So the pin badges are mine. But Amelia gets one of the other things. It's normally like last month it was washi tape, the month before it was something else. So yeah, but the pin badges are mine. So this is the spin. So this is Space Explorer, and then you've got a beaver drinking from a cup. I love it. It's just so cute. And what I love about these ones is the backs of the pin badges are these little rubber ones, which I don't particularly like, but they're little hearts. Look. So cute. Right, so that's basically a project in waiting. That's going to be my Strictly socks, and because it's self-striping, it's just going to be it's just going to be stripes and stripes and stripes, and then a heel, and then stripes and stripes and stripes, and it'll be just one more row. So yeah, I've got an hour to catch up on because I've watched an hour of Strictly so far of this. Okay, so for my spotlight, because I've just started a Tunisian crochet along, I thought I would talk to you a little bit about my favourite Tunisian crochet designers. Now, these are people that I've worked some of their patterns, and also some that I've just admired them and I think they're great. So I have them on my book. First and foremost, the Tunisian crocheter is Ava Nee. So Ava has, she is a Tunisian crochet designer, but actually most of her designs you only need a short hook, so you only need a metal hook that has a decent shaft on it. Not the ergonomic hooks, but if you've got a normal kind of metal hook that everyone started with, that is absolutely fine for Ava's patterns. You don't have to buy Tunisian hooks, which is really, really helpful. The other people that I love in terms of Tunisian crochet, Sharon, who is my crochet makes, her Tunisian adventure shawl is lovely. I have made that. It's a beautiful 2-skein DK shawl, really, really fun to make, and keeps you on your toes, but not hard. There's also the other Sharon, who is Dragon Hill Studios. She's got a couple of Tunisian shawls out which are absolutely lovely and relatively simple. They've got some colour work to them, but they're a nice pattern. I own one of them. The other people, Detroit Knots, who is Natalie. She has a number of different Tunisian crochet. Oh my god, I've got such fluff up my nose. She has a number of crochet patterns, Tunisian crochet patterns. There's the Comfort Tee, there's the Lunar Fade shawl, which was all over Instagram last year or earlier this year. Stephanie Aaron, I tested her Axiom shawl, which was Tunisian crochet earlier this year, which is a lot of fun because it's got fluff in it. Obviously my Diamond River shawl. Hayley Joanne Robinson, who is the designer for the Diamond River shawl, is currently testing the Diamond River socks, which I know Ali is testing right now. So I'm going to keep my eye on that, because Tunisian crochet socks, I'm definitely up for that. Tony Lipsy, who's TLYC Crafts on Instagram, has a couple of Tunisian blankets, I think, and a couple of other things in there as well. And there's also Rachel... oh god, she's French. Rachel Henry. She has some beautiful designs up on Instagram as well as Aklory Designs, AKLORY. She does a lot with fades, which is nice, fade yarns. And then the other kind of designer is Poppy and Bliss. I have their Tunisian Crochet Workshop book, which is a really nice book to work through. I think that's it. But if there's any others, pop them in the chatter thread. If there's any other designers that you think are worth a mention, pop them in the chatter thread and I'll make sure to mention them in the next podcast. Right, last but by no means least, life update. So as I mentioned, I'm doing September vlogs. It's been really fun to do. I need to remember to pick up my camera more. Always the way. But it's been really nice to have the conversations down in the chat, in the comments. So do keep talking to me, guys. It's really nice. I had to stop for 5 days. As I mentioned, I had a panic attack, exhaustion and overwhelm, and just generally not looking after myself. So I took a few days off from that, and I've been looking after myself more. Amelia's back at school. She started in reception, so she's doing 4.5 days a week at the moment. She takes Wednesday afternoons off, but loving it. Comes home super chatty, really hungry. We always take a snack now for her in the car, but yeah, she's been really enjoying herself. And Chris is still working from home. So we have just been told again by the government that we don't want to go back to work. We have to stay at home. And it's probably going to be like this for 6 months. And do you know, having some direction and having a bit of firmness is actually a good thing. I am not a fan, as most of you will know, I am not a fan of our current government. I think they've handled this incredibly badly. I think they were basically voted in to get Brexit done, and then the pandemic happened and yeah, it's not been well managed, and I'm not going to say that anyone else would have done it better, but I think particularly this government has not handled it well. It doesn't help that our new opposition leader is actually a really sensible human being. Oh dear. Anyway, not a political podcast. But yes, if you do want to follow someone who's really good at laying out all the information really well, lovely Lydia on Instagram. I will put a link to her down below. She is brilliant. She also says don't just use her as your own news source, but she's my first person, and then I go to other places as well, just to kind of see what other people are saying. But yeah, lovely Lydia on Instagram. She also does amazing bags. Her thing is she is not a project bag maker. She just makes, mostly they are kind of bags for like toiletries and stuff like that. That's why she sells hers, but there's a growing following in the crafting community. Yes, so we are just carrying on as normal. Lydia actually, she's very good at reposting conversations she has in her DMs, and someone that she was talking to was talking about having a risk budget. Our risk budget is basically being used on school, so we're still continuing to not go into the shops, we're not going to restaurants and pubs, and we are very much sticking to home. We are not seeing family. If we are, then we're distancing we're isolating for a time before we see them, or we're distancing. I'm planning to go down to Kent in a week and a half to see my brother for his birthday, but we are going to have cake in the garden. I'm looking forward to seeing the dog. That was stupid. It is, but I'm looking forward to seeing the dog because I haven't seen Jasper in ages, and he's 9 months old now. And hopefully when I go down to Kent, I'm going to see some friends as well, and I haven't seen them some of them I haven't seen in like 2 years, so I really hope I can still get to do that. We're doing the rule of 6 in the UK at the moment, which is you can see up to 6 people from multiple households while still social distancing, but they are definitely clamping down on anything more than that. The rule of 6 very much is, if you're over by that, you will be fined. But yeah, I'm happy that there are clearer rules coming in, and that the government is being very clear about the trajectory that we are on if we continue to as we are. It is unfortunate that the messaging over the summer was business as usual, because people have got used to being normal again, when actually this virus hasn't gone away. So I think there is going to be some backlash from this, but I think the people who are sensible will understand that actually this needs to happen for us to get anywhere near being back to any relative sense of normal in the new year. Or even just getting through cold and flu season. Let's just do that, shall we? Let's just get through cold and flu season. Lastly, I wanted to tell you about a book that I've just finished, which is The Midnight Library. It is a book by Matt Haig. He is slowly becoming one of my favourite authors, and he talks a lot about mental health, about his his battle with depression and suicide, suicidal thoughts, and I think he actually did try to take his life a couple of times. And The Midnight Library is a work of fiction, and it's based on the character who attempts to take her own life, and the kind of limbo place between life and death is called the Midnight Library, where every book is your life had you made a slightly different decision one time. And you stay in that life until you become disappointed with it, and then you go back to the library. And the story goes on like that. And it's all about kind of living life with regrets and changing your life if you could. And the ending is very predictable by the end of it, but it's predictable in a nice, comforting way. And it's a really well-written book. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, I would highly recommend Midnight Library. It is such a well-written, lovely book, and it provides comfort. I think we all live with regrets about anything, whether they're big regrets or little regrets. Everyone lives with them, and whether you have been on a mental health journey like I have, or whether actually you're doing okay, I think it's still a good book to read to really understand through this character about the lives we could lead based on the decisions we make. And I really enjoyed it. So it's a big thing for me. I'm not a big reader, mainly because I want to be crocheting or knitting, which means I listen to a lot of things and I watch a lot of things. But this had me putting down my crafting. That's how good this book was. Right. That's it, my loves. I'm going to go. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to pop me a little thumbs up or subscribe down below, that would be awesome. It gets me more notice, and that's always nice. So, have a lovely few weeks. I am going to try not to delete this from my SD card, and I'll see you next time. Bye!